Okay, so we're going to do another Module C question. We just did one on a written stimulus. Now we're going to do a visual one. My suggestion here is pause this video and have a go at this question yourself before hearing our feedback. That way, if you give it a go, what we actually coach you on will have more of an impact. That's what I normally find. So pause, give it a go, and then press play once you've had a crack and listen to what we've got to say about it. So over to you, Lily. Let's go into how we would break this down.
Okay, great. All right. So this is a past HSC question that you might have come across in past papers. So here we have a picture that you have to draw from the stimulus, and quite a nice broad question. So we've got use the image provided to craft a central metaphor in a piece of imaginative, discursive, or persuasive writing. So you have the option here to approach it. Approach any of those texts that you're the most comfortable with, which is really great. And then we also have a reflection question. So evaluate how you've used figurative language to influence your creative decisions here. So we'll focus on part A at the moment. So our only key word from this question is that we have to craft a central metaphor. So I would interpret that as an extended metaphor. That would be the language that I'm most comfortable associating that with. So when we're already looking at that, we need to think about how we craft an extended metaphor. So we know that an extended metaphor is simply a metaphor used more than once in a piece. And you also want to use an extended metaphor with the purpose of showing a transformation throughout your piece. So you want to pick a really important theme in your piece, or an important experience that changes a character, and use that as the guide for what you're making the comparison from. So we have to use the extended metaphor at least twice in your piece, so use at least twice. And again, using it in the opening and the ending is going to be the most purposeful places to use it. You can use it more than that, but having it at least in those sections is going to allow you to show a transformation from the start to the end. Okay, so now that we know that and we know what we're looking for, we now want to break down that image. So we want to ask ourselves, what are the key images, symbols, objects we are seeing in the picture? Picture that we could use for an extended metaphor. Okay, great. All right, so this is actually a really nice picture. On first glance, it seems a bit abstract, but if we really break it down, there's a lot of things that you can draw on to create a metaphor. So obviously we have the hand, and the hand that's writing or reaching. It's reaching across a line there as well. So there's a few different ways you could use that hand. We have the fence, which is acting as a barrier. We have footsteps, and we just have writing or drawing in itself. Another interesting one that you can draw on is that it's all entirely black and white. So even the colors in itself, and using that as a metaphor, can actually be really purposeful. You just have to make sure that you are really explicitly showing a contrast or shadowing, referencing shadows or something that really shows the marker that it is drawn from that stimulus. So say the pen in the hand is actually really good because it does allow you to use the metafiction element if you do already have an extended metaphor to do with writing, which is something that we really recommend. So that would be great if you've already got that, or it could guide you to try and include one in this piece. So you might have a reference to someone crafting or drawing something in some way that you can use as in your piece. But other ones that we could use is something as easy as the fence. So a fence is something that we associate with ideas of someone being trapped or overcoming an obstacle or a barrier. And then hopefully by the end of your piece, finding freedom or crossing to another side. So overcoming some sort of obstacle, which is something that you probably do already have in your piece, because there will be an element of conflict or something that your character is trying to overcome. So using the fence in that way is a really easy one. So at the opening, they may feel like this challenge is a fence or a barrier that they simply can't get past. They feel trapped in a really dark, small cage on one side that they're desperately trying to climb over. And then towards the end, you could describe it feels like they've kind of been liberated. They've jumped over that fence, they've torn it down, they've climbed over it, and they've found a sense of freedom or a sense of happiness, whatever was preventing them or causing them hardship. So that's a really easy one that you can do. And you could do the same for any of the other images that you chose or thought related well to your piece. Yeah.
Absolutely. And yeah, just sort of having those footsteps towards freedom. So we've talked a lot about the themes of entrapment and freedom in our Module C videos. And as you can see, yet again, it's very prominent here. So having the idea of, you know, like the craft of something being liberating in some way, that is pretty much the key to getting a band 6 of a Module C. So have a person who experiences a sense of restriction in whatever it is that is restricting them. It could be family, it could be culture, it could be education, it could be, gosh, so many things, right? And then the notion that being able to like write something or paint something or even listen to or create a piece of music, you know, that allows them that sense of freedom and escape. And, you know, so if you have that sort of thing, you will find that your piece lends itself very, very well to whatever stimulus you get. And obviously this is another really good example of that. So give that one a go. And we also do have some videos on the reflection statement. So we've obviously got the part B here. Generally speaking, you want to pick 3 stylistic features that have influenced your writing. And usually they will ask you, to do that from a prescribed text. So we've got plenty of videos on prescribed text. You don't need to go into a big analysis on your prescribed text. You just need to really get like 3 good stylistic features that you've sort of prepared and come in with that, you know, do come, you know, link into and help you create your piece. And then of course, for B, you know, you would go into those 3. So the general structure for that is you'll have like an introductory sentence introducing which set text you're going to, has influenced you stylistically. Tell us what those 3 features are. And then have sort of 3, I would say 3 mini paragraphs going into each of the stylistic features. You don't need to quote from the set text. You just need to say what the stylistic feature is and hope a little bit about how they've used it. And then you quote from your piece. So put a quote in from your piece from A and then explain obviously the effect of that stylistic feature. So you got like a quick introduction, 1 sentence, 3 mini paragraphs, including statement if you have time, and that should be more than enough. And in terms of word lengths, try to prepare I'd say probably try to prepare like around 400 to 500 words for your creative or your discursive. We have obviously seen questions where they don't give you a part B on a reflection. So what we sort of do is go, oh, look, have another 300 words that you could maybe add into your piece in that case, like if that does pop up. I think it's usually more likely they do give you the 2 parts, but it is good to prepare given we have seen that they've given 20 marks off just a discursive or just a creative. So hopefully that helps, and stay tuned. We're going to be adding more stuff over the next couple of weeks to help you guys with your HSC. And, you know, if you like, if you do really well, or if you think you might be a great tutor next year, once you move on to university, feel free to apply with us once everything's done.